Okay, now when you come to move the crane, this is the parking brake. Pull it up, it releases the brakes. And this is the shifter. Let's see here. Click it forward as drive, and then hold it down multiple times until it flashes on this screen that it's in first gear if you're trying to go ahead. Then reverse, it just click it back to the next position. Very simple. Try to go as slow as possible whenever you're driving between setups, because a lot of times it'll start to sway back and forth, and it could tip over. Okay, now I'll come over here and run the outriggers and the axles. Go in this box here. Now you can start the machine by I don't know how to run it myself. Well, let's go ahead and start it like that. Or you can just turn the key onto the first click, and then you can come over here and press this start, and it will also work. Now here we're perfectly leveled. So F4 is the selector between, right now we're in the outrigger setting. So we'll press that. That will go into our axle settings. Then we can press either F3 or F2, depending on which things we want to select. For me, it works the best just to hit F3, so all of these are highlighted. Then you can just press the down arrow, and it will lower all the axles simultaneously with the same pressure. Okay, I usually just drop them all down. Watch the pressures. So we can see they're all just barely touching. And then what I'm gonna do then is I'm gonna press F4. That goes back to my outrigger setting. Then we can just press either the turtle or the rabbit and press either up or down, whichever way we want our outriggers to go. And that will raise all the outriggers at the same time. So let's just hit rabbit and we'll press the up arrow. There, it just drops everything. Okay, then we're gonna go back in F4, F3, that highlights them all. Then we're just gonna press the up arrow, and that raises the axles. You do not want the tire sitting on the ground while you're running it. You know, it doesn't matter if they're an inch off. That's fine. Like these right here, there's no pressure on them. There's no pressure on them. And you're not ever gonna have a problem with that. Okay, and so this button here, accompanied by either the rabbit or tortoise, this runs your beams in and out. And it's pretty simple on all cranes. This runs your beams in and out. This runs individual pads up and down. You could shut it off and start it from here. Now, really important thing is to make sure that these pins are in every time you set up and start swinging stuff. Because if you start swinging around, the crane starts moving, it'll work these beams in and out, and it could break the cylinder inside. So just make sure that these are locked. They just cam in there, then that piece hooks on. Same thing with this one, and it's on all 4 outriggers. And whenever you set up, try to be right in the center of the pads. Try not to have any rock underneath of it, because that rock can break when you're running it. You know, it's not gonna put it out of level per se, but you know, it might bump it half an inch either way. We don't want that. And it's just, this control box is the same on either side. Just does the just either side, and then, but you cannot extend or retract outrigger the beams from the opposite side, obviously, because you can't see it, and that's a safety issue. Now, I'll go back over here and turn this key off. Okay, that is off. This is the master switch. If you're gonna let it sit, like I'm gonna turn it off once I get done doing this video. And if you're gonna do that if you're gonna let it sit over weekend, just shut that off, because this thing has so many little draw points and, you know, sensors that have to have constant power. We're supposed to have constant power. It'll run the battery dead. Okay, then this is the automatic greaser. Now, I don't know if you can see it very well right now, but it's down to about right here. So what I do is I take a screwdriver, and in that hole there where the grease is coming out of, I take a screwdriver, stick it in that hole, and turn it counterclockwise, and this whole plastic thing will turn off. Then you can take it. It usually takes about 3 or 4 tubes of grease. I just you know, manually run the grease out into this thing, then, you know, quick flip it back over and screw it on. But this thing is definitely well greased. It greases itself way too much, honestly. Okay, now, yeah, just leave this step out, because you get used to it being on there. Then when you don't have it, you'll step off, and yeah, it hurts to fall. I'm gonna go to part 2 of this video, and it'll be in the superstructure part.